Hello and welcome to World News Today. Here are the top breaking stories for you. Trump to meet with National Security Team to discuss about Iran. New revelations depend scandal over Trump whistleblower complaint. Supreme Court Brexit case ends and it looks bad for the UK government. Politics turn nasty in Canada as Trudeau and rivals get personal. President Donald Trump will meet with top members of his National Security Council Friday to discuss possible courses of action on Iran, according to a person familiar with the plan. Defense Secretary Mark Esper and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff General Joseph Dunford are to present military relation options should Trump decide to strike after the Saudi Arabia oil installation attack, the New York Times previously reported. Saudi and US officials have said that the drones and missiles used in last weekend's attack on critical oil facilities in the kingdom were made by Iran, had never been before deployed by Iranian proxy groups and came from a northerly direction. Iran has denied involvement in the attacks, which were claimed by the Yemeni rebels allied with the Islamic Republic. Iran's Foreign Minister Javed Zarif warned Thursday in a CNN interview that any US or Saudi strike on his country in response would lead to all-out war. Trump said earlier this week that he wants tougher US sanctions on Iran as his top diplomat seeks to build a coalition of international support for tougher measures. The US reimposed sanctions on Iran after exiting the 2015 nuclear deal, kicking off a year of increasingly fraught relations. Washington's newest scandal over a whistleblower's complaint about President Donald Trump intensified Thursday amid revelations that the White House and Justice Department tried to keep it quiet. The affair, centering on Trump's contacts with a leader of a mystery foreign nation identified in two reports as Ukraine, has also injected a toxic element into relations among the president, the intelligence community and Congress. It is hard to see how any of this ends well. 6 months after special counsel Robert Mueller shut up shop, the White House again faces suspicion over Trump's dealings with a foreign power and seems to be taking steps to stop the full story from coming out. Democrats are running for new skeletons in Trump's closet, and yet another showdown is developing between the executive and Congress that appears almost certain to play out in the courts. The details of the controversy unleashed when a whistleblower sounded the alarm about the president are complex, disputed according to political allegiance, and largely not public. The Washington Post and the New York Times reported Thursday that the contracts at issue between Trump and the foreign leader involve Ukraine. In the past, some of Trump's supporters, including his lawyer Rudy Giuliani, have urged the Kiev government to open investigations that the president could use to raise suspicions about his political rivals, including Joe Biden. In a heated exchange with CNN's Chris Cuomo on Thursday night, Giuliani denied asking Ukraine to investigate the former vice president before admitting he had done just that. The US and Ukraine were in discussions about $250 million in military aid and Kiev this summer that had been delayed by the White House. Giuliani said he did not know anything about the package, but that if Trump had used it as leverage to benefit himself politically in any way, he would not have done anything wrong. The reality is that the President of the United States, whoever he is, has every right to tell the President of another country, "You better strengthen your corruption in your country if you want me to give you a lot of money. If you are so damn corrupt that you can't investigate allegations, our money is going to get squandered." Giuliani said Trump attempted to discredit the whistleblower as highly partisan in a series of tweets Friday morning. Echoing remarks made by Giuliani on Thursday night, the president said his comments to a certain foreign leader were pitch perfect. Trump tweeted, "Strange that with so many other people hearing or knowing of the perfectly fine and respectful conversation, that they would not have also come forward. Do you know the reason why they did not? Because there was nothing said wrong. It was pitch perfect." Trump spoke to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on July 25th. There is so far no public evidence that the whistleblower's complaint pertains to this conversation or there was any abuse of power by Trump. The White House later lifted the hold on aid, but the potential ramifications of his new storm are already becoming clear, and the risks facing the president, the intelligence community, and Democrats in Congress are climbing by the day. An epic clash at the UK Supreme Court over whether the British Prime Minister deliberately misled the Queen has ended, and as Westminster awaits its ruling, the government may have cause for concern. After 3 days of weighty constitutional discussion about whether Boris Johnson lied to the monarch over the real reasons for suspending the UK Parliament in the run-up to Brexit, justices spent a great deal of time discussing precisely what they should do if they ruled against the government. The President of the Supreme Court, Lady Hale, said the court would hand down its momentous ruling early next week. The lawmaker who brought the original case that led to the hearing said Parliament should be repentant immediately if the ruling goes against the government. But after the session, Johnson did not rule out suspending Parliament again. The best thing I can say at the moment, which their deliberations are continuing, is that obviously I agree very much with the Master of the Rolls and the Lord Chief Justice and others who found in our favor the other day, the Prime Minister told reporters on a visit to Wiltshire, Western England. I will wait to see what transpires, the UK's Press Association reported. For polite Canada, the latest federal election campaign is turning out to be pretty nasty. Even before bombshell pictures of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in blackface makeup surfaced on Wednesday, his Liberals and their main opposition, Conservatives, had foregone the usual niceties in favor of tactics more common to the hyper-partisan mud-singing contest south of the border. In the US, to some, it's been a cynical race to the bottom, where leaders have focused on inflicting maximum damage on the rivals rather than propping themselves up a slippery slope that could fuel the sort of political polarization that Canada has largely avoided until now. We are going down a bad road here, and after this campaign, we are probably going to see a lot of postmortems about how did we get there, said Rick Anderson, a longtime political strategist in Ottawa. From the start, the Liberal plan has been to paint the Conservatives as reflexively regressive, riddled with closest bigots and ready to pronounce on women's reproductive rights. Conservative leader Andrew Scheer, meanwhile, has gone personal, raising questions about the Prime Minister's integrity and calling him a liar who would say anything to get elected. Both parties are using increasingly sophisticated campaign war rooms armed with volumes of research on rival candidates and ready to attack every precise disadvantage to fuel the negativity. Days before the election was called, Ralph Goodale, Trudeau's public safety minister, released a 2005 video of Scheer, a practicing Roman Catholic, talking about how he opposed same-sex marriage because gay couples can naturally proceed. In another incident, Trudeau's Minister for Women and Gender Equality, Maria Monsef, released a video from 2013 featuring a Conservative candidate, a female entrepreneur, pitching an idea for a TV show with another woman who has since become one of Canada's most well-known hard-right personalities. This video was released just in time for a Scheer campaign stop with his candidate. This is a far cry from Trudeau's sunny ways approach in the 2015 election, when he generated international attention with an upbeat and positive campaign that brought him to power. That's all from today. Hope you enjoyed our coverage.